Zoka, who has been working for last 3 days tirelessly with regard especially to this federal criminal case with these students of 8 accused victims, D1 to D6 and then 7 and 8. Here is Edward who can throw us some light on it. Edward, if you could please.
Yes, sir, sure. I'll start by thanking the American Telangana Association. They've done a really excellent job with coordinating the legal efforts for all of the students who are either in immigration custody and all of the 8 students who are criminally charged here in this case. The organization has really come together and done a lot to aid these young men in their time of need. So I think a lot of credit and thanks goes to this gentleman and also the organization. So with that said, today we had a brief hearing called the detention hearing in the criminal case. I am representing one of the individuals out of the 8 that are charged. We are working together as a team, myself and the other attorneys, or at least the majority of the other attorneys, to try to get these boys a really good result with their case and hopefully get them out of this mess as soon as possible. What happened today was that we agreed to detention. In other words, that we agreed that my client at least, would remain in custody while this case is pending. And while that may seem like something we would normally want to fight, we want to try to get them out as early as possible, unfortunately in this situation it didn't make a lot of sense. The reason is because not only is he charged criminally, but he also has what's called an immigration hold. And the immigration hold means that even if he were to leave custody of the federal criminal court, he would still have to make his way to immigration custody. The risk that we run there is that he might not get credit for any of the time that he served in federal custody while he was in immigration custody. And so we made the strategic decision for him and for some of the other defendants to not contest their detention and to let them remain where they are for now. We should be receiving a lot more details about the case in the coming weeks, and we look forward to updating what we can update you with. Some of this stuff is confidential and is only allowed for me to discuss with my client and with people that my client authorized me to. But I can assure you that we will update the American Telangana Association and the people who are interested in this case with whatever we are able to.
So one other thing, you and I were actually inside the courtroom. I overheard something like the judge gave an option to come back if he is interested in the bond. The idea of this is not to get the bond because these guys don't have the status to say, and then these guys might end up in the immigration, the ICE custody. And in case, God forbid, it doesn't happen, but for any reason, if these guys get any time of sentence, that means they will lose this period of stay if they stay in the ICE custody in the detention center.
That's absolutely
whereas if they stay over here, let's say for example, if it is like they're sentenced for 6 months or 1 year, it starts from the day 1 as of today.
Correct. Actually, as of when they were detained, so if they were detained last week, they already have a few days of credit already built in. So yes, if they are at some point going to be sentenced on this case and they do receive a sentence that requires jail time or prison time, they will get credit for all the time that they have served in federal custody. So we want to make sure they get credit. Immigration custody, like I said earlier, there's a risk that they may not get that credit, and so we want to make sure they get that.
Yeah, another thing, I was actually overhearing you interacting with a gentleman from the court side, the prosecutor, and he was saying something like, we have the discovery is going to start pretty soon, and then they have over a terabyte of data.
That's right. There's a lot of data. The government is required to produce to us everything that they intend to use against them. So that includes any recordings that they might have, the phone calls, any emails, documentation.
Ever since 2015 when this university started. So that means you have quite a bit of work to discover since 2015 till today. So we have 4 years of data to go.
Right.
That means over a terabyte of data that we have to analyze, to go over in the discovery, which might take a few weeks or
it's going to take definitely longer than a few weeks. It's going to take a while to get through that, but we are working as quickly as we can, and we will continue to work as quickly as we can so that we can hopefully wrap this case up.
That being said, we definitely have about 4 years of data, over a terabyte of data that we have worked with, discover and analyze, and I'm assuming that you'll be meeting this gentleman in the cell.
Yeah, of course. I'll be able to take the computer into the jail with me.
Okay.
And so I'll have the ability to go over every single piece of data that we have with him in detail so that he can, he can have the best idea of what's going on in his case.
So when could be the next hearing? I mean, I know this is the preliminary.
So the next hearing will probably be a pretrial or status conference, and what that is just an opportunity for the judge to say, hey, where have you guys gotten on this case? Have you received all the documentation and data from the government?
So that could be in a couple of weeks or so, or
it could be soon, but it also, I think the court knows that this is a big case and that there's a lot of stuff to go through here, so they're probably going to give us some time. But we should know the next date sometime this week.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you
Let's stay in touch. We'll stay constantly.
Sure.
Let's truly
Absolutely.
appreciate your time. And
Thank
we
you.
understand that you, along with your teammates and other entities, because of the fact, I think you were saying one attorney can only represent one accused, in a federal criminal
That's
case.
right.
So that's why we are also engaging your entities, other sources, to represent other three,
That's
probably
right.
more people.
In a criminal case that involves a conspiracy, every person has to have their own attorney because there may be conflicts of interest between different defendants. And so we've organized some attorneys, aside from myself, to work with some of the individuals.
Truly appreciate your time
Yeah,
in
thank
this
you.
rainy and
All right, thank you.
cloudy day. We'll
All
stay
right.
in touch.